Lastly, let me focus on 2 points. One is the cytoskeleton, and I'm not going to go into great details of the cytoskeleton except to mention that they include microfilaments, microtubules, and intermediate filaments. In this model, you can make out microtubules radiating out to the cell periphery from the microtubule organizing center, which is usually very close to the cell nucleus. You can see very fine filaments out here in the cell periphery. The cytoskeleton supports the cell membrane, and it's also involved with moving organelles around the cell and supporting all those organelles within the cell. When we look at epithelia, we'll see that the cytoskeleton is also involved in reinforcing projections from the surface of epithelial cells, such as microvilli, cilia, and also the tail piece of the mature sperm. And finally, I just want to briefly explain the word interphase that I mentioned in the very first part of this lecture when we spoke about the nucleus. Interphase is the part of the cell cycle where the nucleus is not undergoing structural change for cell division. That's going to occur during mitosis. And I don't want to go into the process of mitosis here. I'll leave that to your study of genetics or other parts of your cell biology studies. This is the interphase part of the cell cycle shown on this diagram. And the G1 phase is the most different in length. It's the most prolonged part of the cell cycle. You're going to see nuclei in all your cell populations in your histology course that are in either the G1, the S, or the G2 phase, but structurally the nuclei will look very similar in all those 3 phases. Some cells leave the cell cycle. They go into the GO phase, meaning outside, sometimes called G0 phase. They're outside the cell cycle because they no longer want to divide, and those cells are the neurons in our body, in our spinal cord and brain, cardiac muscle cells or cardiomyocytes, and skeletal muscle fibers. And all those cells cannot be replaced because they've left the cell cycle. So when neurons die, when cardiac muscle dies, then that's the end of those particular cells. They are what we call in a fully differentiated state. They no longer have the ability to divide and grow and further differentiate. Skeletal muscle, on the other hand, has the ability to repair itself if it's damaged, because the fibre retains a number of stem cells, which are called satellite cells.